All right. What is up? LinkedIn, YouTube. How are you? Good to see you for another Wednesday. I'm Chris, back with another BizBuzz Live. We decided to start these on Wednesday so we could start talking about entrepreneurship and career movements and innovation and what's happening in certain industries. Normally, you guys know me as the financial guy, right? As the guy that's talking about money. But there's another side to that when I sit down with people and we look at their cash flow and we're trying to figure out how we can go bring in more income. Always these business, career, job conversations come up. So stick around today because we're going to be talking about an industry that I was once a part of, the restaurant world, and talking about Applebees and their marketing plan that had just come out, or their marketing. I don't want to call it a ploy, but right, their gimmick that just came out. So let's get a chance to talk about it. As always, we appreciate you tapping in, and feel free to share this with somebody that wants to have these conversations around business, around entrepreneurship, and specifically today for people in the in the restaurant space. I came from the restaurant space, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually my full background. I have associates in culinary arts from Johnson and Wales and a bachelor's in food service management. Also, I decided to start in the industry for some time and kind of work my way through it. Did a lot of back of the house type of stuff. Those of you that are in the industry know that terminology. The back of the house is your line cooks and prep cooks, and worked my way into being, a corporate dining manager for a little bit, and then realized I was kind of personable. So I jumped front of the house. Front of the house, for those of you that don't know, right? That's what you see. So the server, bartender, front of the house managers, those types of people. That's where I kind of got my, I don't know. I guess I kind of cut my teeth in customer service. I cut my teeth on that side, and learning how to deal with people, learning how to multitask, learning how to deliver a good quality customer experience. And then I realized the industry wasn't for me, right? Those things were for me. I love working with people, but the restaurant industry in general, right? Overworked, underpaid. Those of you that are in it probably know it's tough. It's tough. And sometimes people are in it for a long time. Some people find their find another way, find another way to make it happen. So, anyways, today though, I'm going to talk about something that was really interesting, that I actually brought up to a few people, but it'll go down the path of marketing because, ladies and gentlemen, as you're going to get to know this as we have more of these conversations around entrepreneurship and business and all these things. I normally break down four things. I say, hey, there's really four pieces to business. There's sales, there's marketing, there's the process of like looking at your financials, or right, like the profit margins, those types of things. So like the money part of the business, and then the operations part of the business. Like, how does the business actually run? So you take any industry, you take any business that you're starting or any industry you're a part of. You can even look at your company. There's sales is a huge part. How do you transact? How do you, sell your thing, or how do you get compensated for your thing? So the sales part of business is important. Then there's the marketing part, which is how do you get more traffic? How do more people hear about you? How do you go from 10,000 people knowing you to 100,000 people knowing you? What channels do you do that? How do you communicate to your target audience? How do you communicate to your end consumer? That's the marketing side of things. The financial side of things is just understanding the numbers of your business. How do you make money? What are your sales revenues? But also, what are your expenses? How much does labor cost you? How much do your products cost, or your services? What taxes and fees and right miscellaneous expenses? Like basically the budget and the financial plan of a business or of a company is the financials, and then the operations component. Operations is specific to that industry. So how one runs a restaurant is different from how one may run a mechanic shop, or how someone may run their digital business. The operations of An Etsy store or a Shopify store may be completely different than having a brick and mortar location or having a bakery, right? So again, the operations, how that industry works is important. But really, those are the four things, ladies and gentlemen. Like, it's not a lot. When I sit down with people and we start having these financial conversations and we happen to get into the topics of business or careers or entrepreneurship or just how they're going to maneuver to bring in more money, it's really those things: sales, marketing, financials, and operations. And you understanding one, if not all of those things, and building maybe a skill set around them or getting good at it is really what drives the needle in business. So today is more of a marketing conversation, right? That being said, today's a marketing conversation, and the industry happens to be the restaurant space, something that has caught my attention. I've continued to study the space and watch, like, and again, me and my wife, like, we love food, right? We love to go out and eat. If there's good places now, we're kind of we're kind of just cooking at home, in all honesty, because there's just not good food out there. But from this marketing standpoint, this Applebee's story caught my eye, and I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with it, but let's talk about it really quickly, because I think you're going to be able to learn some lessons from this, regardless of what business you're in, regardless of what industry you're in, especially though if you're in the restaurant space and building out a location or multiple locations. These are some marketing things that you might want to take into account. So for those of you that didn't hear, over the past week, Applebee's actually created a promotion where they said for $200, you would be able to get $30 worth of food credit every week at Applebee's. So basically, pay $200 up front, and then every week for an entire year, you would get $30. You could get $30 worth of food. So it turned out to be like a, $1,400 or $1,500 value for just $200. Now, sounds like an amazing deal, right? Sounds like an amazing deal. Sounds like something people would really jump on it because it makes sense. I had one question after seeing it because it caught my attention too. And in all honesty, I don't even eat Applebee's, right? I don't really eat Applebee's. We happen to have one locally because a lot of cities do. But man, I can't tell you the last time I went. That's not a place I frequent. Obviously, casual dining, food quality is not the greatest in general, but we're not there yet, right? Like, we'll maybe save that for a different day. Maybe we touch on the food quality side here, but it was still a good deal, regardless of if I frequent the restaurant or you go to the restaurant. It's just a good deal. It might have been a good gift. Now, I know they positioned it as like the date night promo, right? Of, this is your weekly opportunity to go on a date night. And imagine, for some people, that would be amazing. You pay $200 up front, and then every week you get a date night to show up at Applebee's and basically get $30 of your food comped or taken care of because you kind of paid for it up front. Could be an amazing deal. I said one of the caveats, and I don't know, I haven't read this in the fine print. Maybe if you're aware of this situation, right, drop some comments in the chat, right, or comment your thoughts on like this Applebee's situation. But if you saw it, or if you saw the fine print, I'm not sure it was in there. But the way that it really would make sense for the consumer, right, for the customer, the person actually buying it, is if that $30 rolled over, right? If, like, let's say I don't want to go to Applebee's next week, but then the following week I have $60 to spend instead of 30. That would make it super beneficial for the consumer. But if that's not the case, and like it expires every week, so if you don't use your $30 this week, next week you still only got $30. The following week, right? Like if you don't use that week, the next week you still only have $30. That makes it more beneficial, obviously, for Applebee's, right? And so from a marketing standpoint, this was a really great promo. It got a lot of traction. I saw it on social media. Some of you guys may have seen it on social media. I think they did some things with influencers, maybe on TikTok or Instagram, for them to be able to really kind of get the message out. Again, in the marketing space, it's really getting the message out. But again, if the points rolled over, if the money rolled over, it might be good. If not, right, it's great for Applebee's. Here's why. Because Applebee's probably isn't getting a ton of traction. They're probably not having people choose them for a weekly date night. Maybe there's somebody out there, maybe somebody's listening is like, no, I go to Applebee's every week. Kudos to you. Go to a doctor. I'm joking. Not really. But some people might want to go all the time. Or Applebee's, right, doesn't get that foot traffic currently, right? So this is their marketing promotion to now get foot traffic in the door every single week. That is a benefit to that company. It's a benefit to that restaurant. In the restaurant space, some of you know this that are in the space, right? It really is about butts and seats. Many industries, it's about butts and seats. It's, can I get people through the door? And if I can get people through the door, the food is almost, right, the least expensive part. Again, a lot of the food is fried food or frozen food, right? And they're just dropping it in fryers or putting it in microwaves, right? That's kind of how most casual dining works. So the food's not really the pull. But like, if I could get an extra, if you're only showing up to Applebee's once a month because you happen to like it, and now you have an incentive to show up 4 times a month, sales is going to go through the roof. Regardless of the $200 for $1,500 worth of food, regardless of that, sales will go through the roof just simply because you have more foot traffic, more butts in seats, more people showing up. If people were diligent to a process like this, you know, you would only order that $30 worth of food and not pay anything extra. But business owners know, and restaurants specifically know, that if I get you into this seat, you're likely going to run up the check. You're likely going to get an alcoholic beverage. You're likely going to order another drink. You're likely going to get some dessert. Like, you're likely going to spend over top what it is that you were allotted, that $30. So now not only does Applebee's win because you're coming in now more often, you go from once a month or never to once a week, 4 times a month. That right there, right? Again, more butts and seats, right? More sales volume. And then we know that if you're there, you're likely going to spend more than that $30 that you, right, just paid, you got comped for. So now sales increases. So not only does foot traffic and, right, number of visits increase, but now you increase the sales. That's why I said this date night pass from Applebee's was marketing genius. Like, it was incredibly smart. So kudos to the Applebee's team or whoever like thought of that, because it's going to do what it needs to do potentially. But now there's a little caveat. See if I pull it up here. Actually, no, I'm not going to pull it up. I'm just going to tell you it. Oh, wait, I might be able to. Let me see. Share the screen. And I'm going to share this. So take a look at this. It says the caveat, this just happened yesterday. That's why we're talking about it, or 2 days ago, because it came out on the 22nd. Applebee's customers complained because the date night pass sold out immediately. Guys, they're saying this was like less than a minute. It sold out. So it goes live on the 22nd. Somebody, I guess, logs in 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, and it's already completely sold out. So let's see, as it scrolls down here, I was just telling you about that, the $30 in food. The date night, it says it right here, the date night pass went on sale on Monday at noon, but hopeful couples had their date plan squashed when the passes were sold out almost as soon as they went online. Apple did not respond.
The November jobs report today was the appetizer.
Applebee's decided to not respond to that. So that marketing ploy or the marketing idea that they had, which genius in all honesty, built a lot of buzz around the business built a lot of buzz around Applebees. But how many did actually sell? There's no numbers. Applebee's doesn't have any numbers to say exactly how much sold. So how many did they, make available? I don't know if anyone spoke up yet and said they got theirs. Everyone's just saying it was sold out. So was this just a marketing ploy? Was this just something where it's like, oh, we're going to put out this, but we're only going to make 5 of them for say, we're only going to make 10 of them, right? Some low number. We're only going to put out 50 of them, and then they sell out. I don't know. I don't know if this was Applebee's idea to sell out so quickly. I don't know if someone actually ran the numbers and saw that maybe this wasn't going to be the best for their financials. I can't see that, right? Just as someone that came from the industry, I can't see that if you sold 10,000 of these things, a lot of benefits to that. One, you get some money, some upfront money. This is just good to know in the business space, right? Like, it's always good. It might be a nightmare at accounting, on the accounting side of things, but like, you sell 10,000 of those things. It's what, $200,000 right there, just on a day. Just have an income of 200 grand, just like that. And then, like I said, the benefits of now increased foot traffic, more butts in seats, and more people are going to likely buy more. I think the numbers would have worked out. So why they sell out so quickly? It's really a question, right? Like, if it took a minute or 2 minutes, there couldn't have been that many people. Do they have website problems? I'm curious to hear how Applebee's responds to what they put out. Maybe they got overwhelmed. Maybe they thought it was going to not do as well. And then once they saw the buzz and a lot of people sharing this on social, maybe they got scared and said, we don't want to do this. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take some lessons. Let's take some lessons from this, because again, marketing is a part of business. Marketing is a part of business. The more I sit down with people and the more we help people in their entrepreneurial journey, some small business owners, marketing is really where most people suck, in all honesty. Right? If you have a good marketing brain, or you're good at marketing, you can build anything, right? Marketing is really what gets the word out. It's what causes people to say, oh, I'm paying attention to that brand or that business or that industry, whatever it is. So marketing is really where most people fail. It's very hard to get a buzz like this from a promotion, from a marketing promotion. But Applebee's seemed to have figured out, okay, this is the price point that will make people go crazy, right? $200, because in all honesty, if it was 300, would they have paid? Would it have been the same craze, or would it have sold out in a minute? If it was $500, it's still a good value. If you pay $500 and get $1,500 worth of food, it's still a good value. So how they land on 200, maybe they got overexcited. Maybe they realized it wasn't good. Maybe they want to capitalize and make some more money. Maybe they might go back now in a couple of days and say, oh, we're so sorry, those sold out, but we're bringing it right back for 400. If you liked it at 200, now it's $399, and we'll do the same thing. Maybe. But just know, marketing is important to the business. Marketing is important to your business. I know that's a simple statement, but sometimes we underestimate good marketing, good promotion, right? Would love to see what Applebee's did on the back end. Like I said, I think they got some influencers involved on TikTok. I think the virality of the promo was big, right? If you pull up any of these articles are on, Fox News and the Today Show and Entrepreneur Magazine and like all the different places. This headline has really popped up. So again, kudos to Applebee's for being talked about. We used to say back in the day, right? All press is good press, right? All press is good press. So whether you sell out in a minute, whether it becomes the biggest deal of all time, we're talking about Applebee's. And that is marketing, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you should be thinking about in your business. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're running a small business, How's your marketing? How many people know your name? How many headlines do you have? Who's clicking to see what's going on with you? How much are you making yourself relevant out there? Right? Marketing is is a huge part of the growth of somebody's business, of anyone's business. This is an example in the restaurant world, in the hospitality industry, of how Applebees can literally take over a bunch of headlines like that overnight. I mean, for real, when's the last time you were talking about Applebees? Was the last time you were talking about really any casual dining? I saw Chili's do a commercial with like Boys to Men, trying to bring that out, right? But it's not effective. It's not effective. Just to get Wanye Morris to sing, to sing "I Want My Baby Back Ribs," right? It's not driving people into Chili's. It might, I'm not looking at the financials. It might have drove some people into Chili's, but I highly doubt it. But this $200 for $1,500 worth of food sells out in a minute. That'll drive some people. That's marketing, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get creative with your marketing. From a restaurant standpoint, if anybody that's listening is in the restaurant space or has been in the restaurant space, right? This probably would have been a nightmare for servers, right? A nightmare for servers, because if anyone knows, when you go, if you've worked in the industry and you're a server and there's some type of deal where it gets a lower check average, right? If they're comping basically $30 worth of food and that bill now goes from $47 down to $15 to $17, most people that go out to eat will tip on the $17. So from a fellow restaurateur, someone that's been in the industry, ladies and gentlemen, tip your staff, tip your server on the proper amount of the bill, on the proper amount, not just the amount that comes at the end. On the proper amount. If they discount something for you, if you get a discounted service, tip on the proper amount. Like, what would the bill have been? Tip on that. Don't tip on what you see there. It's important. I know. I just taught you something. It's going to bless your servers. They're going to like you. You're going to get better service now when you go out, as long as you know those types of things. So I don't know if the servers would have been happy with this Applebee's thing. That's maybe why, again, they sold out. I'm really just curious to see how many they actually sold. Applebee's, you have 24 hours to respond. What's up? How many did you actually sell? I don't know that they'll ever give us those numbers. Are they a publicly traded company? Yeah, I think they are. Well, I think they're owned by a brand, right? I think they're owned by a different brand. But I'd be curious to look at the books and see, like, oh, you only released 100. That's why it sold out in a minute. You only released 50. That's why it sold out in a minute. Because if you release 10,000, if you release 20,000, because they said limited, but if you release 10,000, I don't believe that 10,000 people lined up online at 12 noon on the dot to get their pass. I wouldn't believe that. So I'm curious to hear how this marketing is going to play out for Applebee's now moving forward. Maybe this was a marketing fail for them. Maybe it goes the opposite direction, because now people are disgruntled that they didn't get their pass. So now they're going to pick somewhere else for date night. Now might be the downside of promoting this way. Now what actually happens is people don't value the food at all to pay anything for it, because now they're going to be mad that they could have gotten $30 a week for $200. And so now going in and paying $52 for your meal, you're just mad. You're like, they fooled us. So now maybe people don't go at all. I don't know. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why marketing is important. This is why marketing is important, right? It's because it can literally grow. It can be the thing that grows your business. It can be the thing that also bad marketing, right? Like, could be the thing that drives people away from your business. Marketing just exposes a business. Marketing just exposes a business. If you have a great business model, you have great sales, you have a great product, and you market the heck out of it, it'll expose that. It'll say, man, this is a great product. This is a great company. And then things are going to do really well. The other side's also true. If you have a bad product, if you have bad leadership, if you don't have anything good, marketing will expose that too. Good marketing will expose that this is a horrible company. They have a horrible product. they don't have integrity. Both sides are true. So yes, be careful when you market, but just know how important marketing is to the success of your business, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for today. Go to Applebees. I don't get sponsored by them. They're not paying me. But I'd be curious to see kind of what the flow is like in there and who actually got the date night pass and who actually didn't. I'm curious to keep updated on this news as Applebee's responds eventually to say, oh, thank you to the 20 people that got their date night pass. But just be curious. And again, the reason why we come on here every Wednesday and why we're going to continue to do this on Wednesday is to talk about what's happening in certain industries, to talk about these higher level topics in business, sales, marketing, financials, operations. How do we improve? How do we get better? If you're already in one of these industries, right? What do you see? How do you see it? Because it's important to be ahead and abreast of a lot of these topics of your current industry, especially if the end goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to bring in more revenue, to make more money for yourself or your family. You have to start to study and become a student of the industry you want to be in or the business that you're a part of. So we're going to use these Wednesdays to have these conversations with you. I appreciate you checking in. We're coming every Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern, live on LinkedIn, live on YouTube. Hit subscribe, hit like if you're on YouTube, right? Share this with somebody on LinkedIn. We're going to be talking about all types of business stuff today. It was about Applebee's and their marketing. Curious to see how it all plays out. But until next Wednesday, y'all, stay well. Take care.